15 years of dedication to Mercy General Hospital, and this is what it came down to: being dismissed like an orderly who'd wandered into the wrong room. Dr. Victor Preston's words echoed in my head as I walked away from the boardroom. This is for actual doctors, not just some nurse. I clutched my designer handbag containing the $50 million check that would save the hospital from bankruptcy and smiled. Tomorrow, they'd learn what just some nurse could do. My name is Alexander Mitchell, and I've spent my entire career being underestimated. When you're a nurse, people see the uniform, not the person. They don't see the nights you spend studying investment reports between rounds. They don't notice you monitoring stock tickers while monitoring patient vitals. And they certainly don't realize that the simple nurse they ignore has built a medical technology empire worth billions. It started 12 years ago, during a particularly brutal night shift in the ER. I watched another patient die because our monitoring systems were too slow, too outdated to catch the warning signs in time. That night, I went home and started sketching designs for what would become the Media Alert system, now standard equipment in hospitals worldwide. But at Mercy General, I was still just Nurse Mitchell, the quiet one who worked extra shifts and never complained. Even as my company, Mitchell Medical Technologies, revolutionized patient care across the globe, I kept working my regular shifts. The hospital was my home, its patients my purpose. Money meant nothing without the ability to directly help people. Nurse Mitchell, a familiar voice called out as I walked down the corridor. Dr. Sarah Wong, one of the few doctors who treated nurses with respect, hurried to catch up. Did they let you into the board meeting? I shook my head, adjusting my badge, still marked nursing staff, despite the fact that I could buy this hospital 10 times over. Apparently, it's for actual doctors only. Sarah's face darkened. That's ridiculous. You've been here longer than most of them. You understand this hospital better than anyone. If she only knew how true that was. For the past 5 years, I'd been anonymously supporting Mercy General through a complex network of shell companies and charitable foundations. Every time the hospital faced a financial crisis, mysterious donations appeared. New equipment arrived just when the old machines were failing. Scholarship funds materialized for promising medical students. But now, with Mercy General facing its biggest crisis yet, the anonymous approach wouldn't work. The hospital needed a complete overhaul. New facilities, updated equipment, expanded emergency services. The price tag, $50 million. Did you hear about Golden State Healthcare's offer? Sarah asked, lowering her voice. They're planning to turn Mercy into a luxury private hospital. No more charity cases, no more emergency services for the uninsured. I nodded grimly. Golden State Healthcare, a profit-focused corporation, had been circling Mercy General like vultures. Their CEO, Maxwell Richards, saw our struggling community hospital as prime real estate for his chain of exclusive medical centers. The board meets tomorrow to vote on the sale, Sarah continued. Dr. Preston's pushing hard for it. Says it's our only option. Dr. Victor Preston, chief of surgery and board chairman, was the biggest advocate for the sale. He'd been promised a prestigious position in Golden State's hierarchy, assuming he could deliver Mercy General on a silver platter. What he didn't know was that I'd spent the last month quietly buying up the hospital's debt through various subsidiaries. The check in my bag wasn't just a donation, it was a takeover. How's Tommy doing? I asked, changing the subject as we approached the pediatric ward. Tommy Martinez, a 10-year-old fighting leukemia, was one of our long-term patients. His family couldn't afford private care, making him exactly the kind of patient Golden State would reject. Hanging in there, Sarah sighed. The new treatment's showing promise, but it's expensive, I finished. Tommy's experimental treatment was another of my anonymous gifts to the hospital. He'll make it, Sarah. We won't let him down. My phone buzzed, a message from my company's legal team. Documentation prepared. Ready to proceed with Operation Mercy tomorrow. I smiled, remembering the day I started planning this takeover. It was 3 months ago, during another late-night shift. I'd overheard Dr. Preston in his office, talking to Maxwell Richards about cleaning house once the sale went through. These bleeding heart nurses and their charity cases, he'd sneered. Time to run this place like a proper business. That night, I called my financial advisors. How quickly can we acquire a controlling interest in a hospital? The answer, if you had enough money and the right legal team, was very quickly indeed. Alexandra? Sarah's voice pulled me back to the present. You okay? You looked miles away. Just thinking about tomorrow's board meeting, I said truthfully. I wish you could be there, she sighed. Someone needs to stand up for what Mercy General really means to this community. Oh, I'll be there, I thought. Just not how anyone expects. Walking through the pediatric ward, I stopped at Tommy's room. He was awake, playing video games, another anonymous gift. His mother dozed in the chair beside him, exhausted from working double shifts to cover what insurance wouldn't. Hey, Nurse Alex, Tommy called out cheerfully. Want to play? I spent the next hour with him, racing cartoon characters while monitoring his vitals. This was why I'd built my company, why I'd kept working as a nurse despite my wealth. Money was meaningless without purpose, and my purpose was here. My phone buzzed again. Press release prepared. Local and national media alerted for tomorrow's announcement. I have to go, Tommy, I said, standing up. Big day tomorrow. Will you tell me who sent the games? He asked hopefully. Mom says it must be an angel. I winked at him. Maybe tomorrow. In the locker room, I changed out of my scrubs into a designer suit that cost more than most doctors made in a month. The duality of my life always amused me. Nurse by choice, billionaire by circumstance. My assistant waited in the parking lot with a stack of documents. Everything's ready, Ms. Mitchell. The lawyers have confirmed our position. Once you present the check tomorrow, the hospital will be ours, I finished. And Dr. Preston's deal with Golden State will be worthless, she smiled. Would you like me to prepare a statement about retaining the current nursing staff? I laughed. Let's wait until after tomorrow's meeting. I want to see their faces first. Driving home to my penthouse apartment, paid for by the profits from medical patents I'd developed between night shifts, I thought about how everything would change tomorrow. No more hiding my success. No more being dismissed as just a nurse. But more importantly, no more worrying about Mercy General's future. No more watching dedicated healthcare workers struggle with inadequate resources. No more families choosing between treatment and bankruptcy. My phone rang. Dr. Preston's number. Probably calling to apologize for earlier, having realized he might need nursing support for his Golden State deal. I let it go to voicemail. Tomorrow, he'd learn exactly who he dismissed from his precious board meeting. Tomorrow, just some nurse would save not just the hospital, but everything it stood for. I pulled out the check one more time, running my fingers over the amount. $50 million to save Mercy General. A bargain, really, considering what it would protect. My watch showed 11:30 p.m. In 12 hours, the board would meet to vote on selling the hospital's soul. But I had a different vote in mind. one backed by enough money and legal power to reshape Mercy General's future. Time to show them what a nurse could really do. 9:00 a.m. I stood in front of Mercy General's main entrance, watching reporters set up their equipment. They'd been told to expect a major announcement about the hospital's future, though none of them knew exactly what was coming. My phone buzzed, a message from my legal team. Golden State representatives have arrived. Dr. Preston is showing them the facilities. Perfect timing. I straightened my Armani suit, a far cry from my usual scrubs, and headed inside. The hospital corridors felt different this morning. No badge, no uniform, no pretense of being just a nurse. Today, I was Alexander Mitchell, CEO of Mitchell Medical Technologies and soon-to-be owner of Mercy General Hospital. Alex? Sarah's voice stopped me near the elevator. She did a double take at my appearance. What's with the power suit? I thought I'd dress up for the board meeting, I smiled. But they wouldn't let you. Her voice trailed off as she noticed the portfolio in my hands. What are you planning? Come watch and see. The boardroom was on the top floor, with views overlooking the city. Through the glass walls, I could see them assembling. Board members in expensive suits, Golden State executives with predatory smiles, and Dr. Preston at the head of the table, probably already counting his bonus. My assistant appeared at my elbow. Everything's in place. The press is standing by. Security has been briefed. And the documents? She patted her briefcase. All here. Shall we? I checked my watch. 9:15 a.m. Time to crash their party. The boardroom door opened smoothly under my hand. Conversation stopped mid-sentence as heads turned to stare. Dr. Preston's face darkened with recognition and anger. Nurse Mitchell, this is a private meeting. Security. Actually, I said calmly, I have every right to be here. More right than some of you, in fact. Maxwell Richards, Golden State's CEO, frowned at Preston. Who is this? Nobody, Preston snapped. Just a nurse who doesn't know her place. Security will remove. Alexander Mitchell. I cut in smoothly. CEO of Mitchell Medical Technologies and majority debt holder of Mercy General Hospital. The silence was absolute. Preston's face went from red to white as the implications hit him. Several board members started frantically Googling on their phones. Impossible, Preston whispered. My assistant stepped forward, opening her briefcase. The documentation is quite clear. Over the past 3 months, Ms. Mitchell's companies have acquired controlling interest in Mercy General's debt obligations. Additionally, she began distributing folders containing proof of my ownership, my company's financials, and, most importantly, evidence of Preston's backroom dealings with Golden State. This is outrageous. Preston stood, his chair scraping back. The sale to Golden State is already arranged. Is it? I smiled, pulling out the check. Because I'm prepared to offer an alternative. $50 million, Dr. Preston. Enough to clear the hospital's debt, upgrade all facilities, and establish an endowment for future growth. Maxwell Richards leaned forward, shark-like eyes reassessing me. Mitchell Medical Technologies. The Media Alert System. That was you. I nodded. Along with 37 other medical patents currently in use worldwide, including, Dr. Preston, the surgical monitoring system you praised in last month's medical journal. Preston collapsed back into his chair, remembering his glowing review of technology created by just some nurse. The boardroom door opened again. Sarah entered, followed by a stream of hospital staff. Nurses, technicians, orderlies. The people Preston had never bothered to notice. "What is this?" he demanded. "Witnesses," I said simply. "The people who actually make this hospital work. The ones your deal with Golden State would discard." I turned to address the entire room. For 15 years, I've worked at this hospital. I've watched dedicated professionals struggle with inadequate resources. I've seen families bankrupt themselves for care. I've witnessed the slow erosion of everything Mercy General stands for. Walking to the window, I gestured at the gathering media below. Out there are reporters waiting to hear one of two stories. Either Mercy General sells its soul to become another overpriced private facility, or it recommits to its original mission, providing care to everyone who needs it. The money, Preston found his voice. "Where did you?" "I earned it." I cut him off. "Every penny. While you were playing politics and making deals, I was solving problems, creating solutions, building something real." My assistant distributed more documents, plans for hospital upgrades, endowment structures, staff retention guarantees. "The choice is simple," I continued. "Accept my offer, and Mercy General becomes a state-of-the-art teaching hospital with guaranteed funding for charitable care. Refuse, and I'll call those reporters right now with evidence of your dealings with Golden State, including," I paused significantly, "the offshore accounts." Preston went pale. Maxwell Richards stood abruptly. "This meeting is over. Golden State withdraws its offer." "Wise choice," I smiled. "The elevator is that way." As the Golden State executives filed out, the hospital staff began to whisper and point at their phones. The story was breaking. Nurse reveal his billionaire tech CEO. Hidden hospital angel emerges. Mercy General saved by unlikely hero. "You've been lying to us for years," Preston accused, desperate to regain control. "Pretending to be something you're not." "No, Dr. Preston. I am exactly what I've always been. A nurse who cares about this hospital and its patients. The only difference is, now I have the power to protect it." The board voted unanimously to accept my offer. They didn't really have a choice. I already controlled most of the hospital's debt. But the public show of support would make the transition smoother. As the meeting concluded, Sarah approached me, shaking her head in amazement. All this time, those anonymous donations, the new equipment, Tommy's treatment. "Guilty?" I admitted. "Though I'd appreciate if you didn't tell him just yet. Let him believe in angels a little longer." The boardroom slowly emptied, leaving me alone with Preston. He sat there, staring at his shattered dreams of corporate wealth. "Why?" he asked finally. "Why keep working as a nurse when you had all this?" I thought about Tommy playing his video games, about his mother working double shifts, about every patient who needed more than just medical care. They needed compassion, dedication, humanity. Because being a nurse isn't what I do, Dr. Preston. It's who I am. The money, the companies, the patents, they're just tools to do it better. My phone buzzed. The press was waiting for a statement. Time to go public with my vision for Mercy General's future. "Oh, and Dr. Preston?" I paused at the door. "I'll need your resignation by end of day. This hospital needs a chief of surgery who understands that every member of our staff, from janitors to surgeons, deserves respect." He nodded numbly, finally comprehending just how completely his world had changed. Outside the boardroom, Sarah waited with a small crowd of nurses. Their expressions ranged from shock to joy to lingering disbelief. "What happens now, boss?" someone called out. I smiled, straightening my badge, still marked nursing staff, because that's what I chose to be. Now we build the hospital our patients deserve, starting with the pediatric ward. The future of Mercy General was secure. But first, I had a press conference to handle. And after that, I had a night shift to work. Because some things, the most important things, wouldn't change at all. 6 months later, and with this ribbon cutting, we officially opened the new Mercy General Emergency Care Center. Applause erupted as I handed the scissors to Tommy Martinez, our honorary guest. Now in remission, he beamed as he cut the red ribbon, officially opening the most advanced emergency department in the state. "You did it, Nurse Alex," he whispered as I helped him back into his wheelchair. "You really were our angel." The past 6 months had transformed Mercy General. The $50 million investment had been just the beginning. Once my full resources were committed, the hospital underwent a metamorphosis that made it the talk of the medical community. But the biggest changes weren't the obvious ones. Not the new equipment, renovated facilities, or expanded services. The real transformation was in the hospital's soul. "Ms. Mitchell," a reporter called out, "how does it feel to be named Healthcare Innovator of the Year?" I adjusted my name badge, still reading nursing staff, despite my new official role as hospital owner and board chairperson. The real innovators are our staff. They're the ones who identify problems and inspire solutions. "And you still work regular nursing shifts, even after the Forbes cover?" "Especially after the Forbes cover," I smiled. "You can't improve healthcare from a corner office. You have to be on the floor, working with patients, understanding their needs." The media loved the story. The billionaire nurse who saved her hospital. They called it a fairy tale, a rags-to-riches story. They missed the point entirely. Later that evening, during my regular night shift, Sarah found me checking on Tommy. "The board meeting minutes are ready for your review," she said, now serving as chief of medicine after Preston's departure. "And the new scholarship committee needs your input." "Put them on my desk," I replied, adjusting Tommy's IV. "I'll review them after rounds." "Still can't believe you kept this schedule," she mused. 3 nights a week on regular rotation, running a billion-dollar company, and managing hospital operations. "Balance," I said simply. "The company provides resources, the hospital provides purpose." My phone buzzed, a message from my corporate office about a new medical technology breakthrough. It could wait. Right now, Tommy needed his medication. The night shift passed as it always had, checking patients, updating charts, handling emergencies. The only difference was occasional interruptions from my assistant about business matters. "The Singapore deal needs your signature," she whispered during a brief break. "And the new Media Alert upgrade is ready for testing." "Schedule the signing for tomorrow," I replied, hearing the emergency alert. Right now, we have incoming traumas. The ER filled quickly. A major car accident had brought multiple casualties. I worked alongside the same nurses and doctors who, 6 months ago, had seen me only as just a nurse. Now they knew who I was, but more importantly, they understood why I chose to be exactly where I was. "Nurse Mitchell," Dr. Rodriguez called out, "we need your expertise on this patient's monitoring setup." The Media Alert system, my first major invention, had evolved based on direct experience with patients. Every upgrade, every improvement came from real-world needs identified during shifts like this. As dawn approached, I made my final rounds. The pediatric ward had been completely renovated. now featuring private rooms equipped with the latest technology. But technology wasn't everything. Each room also had comfortable beds for parents, relaxation areas for families, and all the human touches that made healing possible. Morning, boss. The day shift nurses greeted me as they arrived. Some still struggled with how to address me. Was I Nurse Mitchell? Ms. Mitchell? The CEO? I'm still just Alex. I reminded them, the titles don't matter. In my office, a modest space near the nurses' station, not the palatial boardroom, I finally tackled the administrative work. Hospital financials, corporate reports, research proposals, and investment opportunities all demanded attention. A knock at the door interrupted my review. Maxwell Richards, the former Golden State CEO, stood there looking uncomfortable. Ms. Mitchell, do you have a moment? I gestured to a chair, curious. He'd disappeared after the failed takeover, his predatory healthcare model rejected. I've been following what you've done here, he said carefully. The financial models, the operational improvements, the patient outcomes. It's remarkable. Thank you. Our board, we've been discussing a possible partnership. Not a takeover, he added quickly, but implementing your methods across our facilities. Making healthcare more humane. I studied him thoughtfully. And the profit margins. Actually improved, he admitted. Your efficiency models, combined with the goodwill from community support, we're seeing better numbers than our luxury-only approach generated. I pulled out a folder I'd prepared months ago, anticipating this conversation. Here's a preliminary proposal. Review it with your board. But understand, any partnership requires maintaining full charitable care services and staff protection. He took the folder, nodding. You planned for this? I planned for everything, Mr. Richards. It's what good nurses do. After he left, I changed back into scrubs for my weekly pediatric rounds. The children didn't care about my net worth or corporate titles. To them, I was still just Nurse Alex, who played video games and told stories. Tommy was being discharged today. Is treatment successful? His mother waited with tears in her eyes. How can we ever repay you? She asked. Study hard, I told Tommy. Maybe become a nurse yourself someday. But I thought nurses couldn't be rich and powerful, he said innocently. I winked at him. That's exactly what they used to tell me. 1 year later, Mercy General became a model for hospitals nationwide. Our patient care protocols, financial structure, and staff empowerment programs were studied and replicated. The partnership with Golden State transformed dozens of facilities back into true community hospitals. The Nursing Scholarship Program, funded by my company's profits, graduated its first class. Each new nurse received not just education, but mentorship and support to pursue their own innovations. Dr. Preston occasionally sent congratulatory notes about the hospital's success, each one carefully archived with my collection of actual doctors-only memories. Success, as they say, is the best revenge. My dual life continued. Hospital shifts, corporate meetings, research reviews, and patient care blending into a purpose-driven whole. The media eventually tired of the billionaire nurse story, moving on to newer sensations. But the real story wasn't about money or power. It was about remembering why we do what we do. Late one night, during a quiet moment in the ER, Sarah found me updating charts at the nurses' station. You know, she said, you could have bought any hospital, built a new one. Why save this one? I thought about all the lives touched within these walls, all the dedicated professionals who worked miracles with limited resources, All the patients who needed not just care, but compassion. Because some things are worth more than money, I replied. Some things you can't buy. You have to build them, protect them, fight for them. Like a nurse's dedication. Exactly like that. My phone buzzed. Another corporate crisis demanding attention. But first, I had patience to check. Because at the end of the day, I wasn't a billionaire who chose to be a nurse. I was a nurse who became a billionaire. And I never forgot the difference. Epilogue. 5 years later, Mercy General's model revolutionized healthcare delivery across the country. Other hospitals adopted our approach, balancing advanced technology with human compassion, financial stability with charitable mission. The MediAlert system evolved into a comprehensive healthcare platform, saving countless lives worldwide. Every upgrade still came from direct patient care experience, from real nurses solving real problems. Tommy graduated high school as valedictorian, heading to nursing school on a full scholarship. His graduation speech mentioned angels who walk hospital corridors in nurses' uniforms, proving that power and compassion aren't mutually exclusive. I still work night shifts, still wear the same badge, still believe in the importance of direct patient care. My corporate empire grows, but its purpose remains unchanged. Supporting and advancing the work that happens in hospital corridors every day. Sometimes, new staff members are surprised to find the hospital's owner changing bedpans or checking vitals. They expect wealth to mean distance, power to mean delegation. They don't understand that true power comes from purpose, not position. That real success isn't about escaping the front lines. It's about improving them. Just a nurse, they used to say. Now they understand. There's no such thing as just a nurse. There are only people dedicated enough to do whatever it takes. Whether that's inventing new technology, building business empires, or simply holding a patient's hand through the darkest hours of the night. That's what I am. That's what I'll always be. A nurse who proved that compassion and power can work the same shift, that wealth and dedication can share the same badge, that changing the world sometimes starts with changing a bandage. And every time I pin on that badge, still marked nursing staff, after all these years, I remember the truth that Dr. Preston and his kind never understood. Sometimes the most powerful person in the room is the one wearing scrubs. Sometimes the richest person is the one who never forgot why they started. Sometimes the best revenge isn't proving them wrong, it's proving yourself right. Every single shift, every single patient, every single day.